I'm Julia Sondu, showing you where development is happening. Please come and join us. Serena Williams venture capital firm has invested in a Nigerian data and insights firm Steers Inc. Steers will get $3.3 million funding in the new investment. The funding involves Williams Serena Ventures and was led by Mac Enterprise Capital. Others include Amidia Group's Luminate Fund, Melo 7 Tech Companions and Cascador. According to Bloomberg, the founder of the Serena Ventures announced that the investment is just one of the companies in Africa. The tennis legend will turn more of her attention to investing in following her retirement from tennis after the US Open in September. One of the main reasons I invested in Steers is not because of my love and appreciation for Africa, but because Steers has strategically thought of how to increase the investment community on the continent, Williams said in an emailed statement. They're aware of the complexities and have leverage with data and technology, and I truly respect what they're doing. Steers, which is based in Lagos, offers data collection, production, advisory and analysis services. Its products include Steers Insights, the company's flagship digital publication, which provides analysis-driven content to its subscribers. Other participants in the round included Melo 7 Tech Partners LLC, Cascador, Hoak Club and return investor Luminate Fund of the Amidia Group, according to co-founder and chief executive officer Preston Nyerere. Steers declined to provide valuation information. The Steers round comes in a year that has been a historic high for African startup funding. Even so, early-stage African companies tend to raise less than their US counterparts, according to data compiled by Bloomberg. The median investment for African seed rounds this year is $2.6 million, compared with a median of $4.5 million in the US. Steers was launched in 2017 by four co-founders who met during secondary school at Loyola Jesuit College in Abuja, Nigeria, and at the London School of Economics and Imperial College in the UK. The company plans to use the new funding to expand its coverage geographically by establishing a presence in East and Southern Africa, Nyerere said. In addition, Steers will expand its product breadth beyond insights to data, deepen data partnerships, and collect its own proprietary data, to which it will license access, he said. While it started as an online publication, Steers now considers its main competitors to be other data and intelligence providers, Nyerere said in an interview. Some Steers readers rely on its Insights product as an alternative to Bloomberg News and other information services. The company plans to launch a service for proprietary data on Africa that will compete more directly with Bloomberg LP, according to a statement from the company. Steers said in a statement that its user base has grown at around 6.5% month-on-month, doubling the company's number of users over the last year.
Hold on, know that it's time to be strong. Let's all believe in the future. Together
Serena Williams' investment shows that Nigeria's technology sector is attractive. Nigeria is the leading African destination for foreign direct investments in technology startup businesses. Between 2015 and 2022, Nigerian technology startups have secured funding totaling just over $2 billion United States dollars. This is the highest amount of funding recorded by any country in Africa. The Big Four countries of Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa and Kenya are leading Africa's startup scene. They currently account for about a third of the continent's startup incubators and accelerators, and receive 80% of technology startup FDI into Africa. What is interesting is that Nigeria remains the top destination for technology investments in Africa. This is underscored by the announcement that recently retired tennis legend Serena Williams' venture capital firm, Serena Ventures, is backing Nigerian data and insights firm Steers in a $3.3 million United States dollars seed round led by Mac Venture Capital. This means Serena Ventures has partnered with institutional investors Mac Venture Capital, Mello 7 Tech Partners, Amidia Group and Cascador to invest $3.3 million in Steers. What is the attraction? The Big Four countries attract more startup FDI than other African countries because of their large economies and sizable populations. Nigeria, for example, with its GDP of roughly $440 billion and population of roughly 211 million, is projected to be the third largest country by population in the world by 2050. Likewise, Egypt, Kenya and South Africa boast some of the largest economies in Africa, with GDPs of $404 billion, $110 billion and $420 billion respectively. Investors are attracted by the large markets in these countries and the potential of technology firms in them to expand across Africa.
In my brain, so bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain and break up all the circles and the chains. I need some meditation in my brain, so bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chains. Hey, no, this could never be no man killer. Good for my head, so me call it as the man healer. When me ill, you know me never need a painkiller. It's quite exciting, me call it as the man chiller. Give me good man, so me not think illa. What a inspiration, fit on a sound killer. Fit the pagan, me spark it like a 9 miller. Fi fight the liquor and the coke, ganja and the pillar. That's why me need some herb in my brain. So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chain.
Commander-in-Chief and the leader of Economic Freedom Fighter Julius Malema was voted the winner as the most influential African. Congratulations to the Commander-in-Chief.
They are icons and high achievers in their spaces who have made their mark in society. Influential people impart a lasting impact on people and help shape the worldviews about different issues. Hence, not all high achievers are categorized as influential unless they have a recognizable social influence. They can be artistic, charismatic leaders, activists, philanthropists, or entrepreneurs, among others. In Africa, celebrated influential people like Aliko Dangote and Elon Musk stood out in 2022 and were heard, let alone being listened to. But some had a bigger impact on the people than others. And the winner for most influential African is Julius Malema.
The African Entertainment Awards 2022 has celebrated the late president of Tanzania, John Pombe Magufuli, as an icon person who brings changes to the life of normal people, especially in his country, Tanzania. Remember, John Pombe Magufuli fought for corruption, fought for exploitation against multinationals who have exploiting the country for many years and establishing the law of win-win situation. Remember, John Pombe Magufuli fought against Western imperialists who want to exploit his country. So the African Entertainment Award has remembered and honor the late President John Pombe Magufuli. So this is something, when if you do things good, the history will never left you. The history will remember you. Wherever the people say something bad about you, but the history will never have left you. The history will bring the truth.
For example, Amazon's stock price increased by over 80% just this year. Google's stock price rose by almost 30%. Tesla's stock increased by 721%. Yes, you heard that right, 721%. Then the question is, why would anyone invest elsewhere when they can double or even triple their money in the stock market? The answer is risk. When it comes to government bonds, for example, there isn't much risk. In fact, it's risk-free to a certain extent. But when it comes to individual companies, there is a risk that the company might fail. It might report negative earnings. Pretty much any negative news can drive the stock price down. The company might release a product, and if the public doesn't like it, that can make some negative headlines, which can drive the price down. So, with higher returns comes more risk. Apple is a well-established company, and its chances to fail are way lower than Tesla, for example. But it also has less room to grow than Tesla. That's why Tesla grew by 721% this year, but Apple by just 70%. What you have to determine for yourself is how much risk you can take without going nuts. If that $1,000 is all that you have left, maybe risking it all isn't the wisest option, because if things turn south, you can end up losing most of it. So one way investors minimize the risk in the stock market is by investing in an index. The most famous one is the S&P 500, which tracks top 500 US companies. So an index fund would basically invest in these top 500 US companies. Some of these companies will definitely fail, but others will grow. Judging by historical data, the average return rate for the S&P 500 since the 1920s was around 10%. This means buying a share of these index funds means you're buying a tiny share in the top 500 US companies. My three top favorite index funds are VOO or Vanguard 500 Index Fund, Triple Q, an index fund by Invesco, and Fidelity Zero Total Market Index Fund. All of them are great and invest in pretty much the exact same companies. But how do you buy shares in these index funds? I mean, where do you start? First, you need to find a broker, someone who is qualified to sell you stocks. In the past, it was always someone. You had to pick your phone and call him and ask him to sell you some shares. Remember the Wolf of Wall Street? He would spend his entire day calling people and try to sell them worthless stocks. But thank God we are in 2020 and things are much better and easier. Brokerage firms created apps so that you can buy shares from the comfort of your smartphone, such as Robinhood, Webull, and so on. All you have to do is download one of these apps and sign up, and you can start investing right away. In fact, if you use the link below to open a Webull account, you will get 2 free stocks. Just a disclaimer, it's an affiliate link, but you're going to get your 2 free stocks. Isn't that amazing? That's a good way to start, I would say. Check the link in the description. I tried my best to make this video as simple as possible so that whoever wants to start investing can start right away. Often what happens is that you want to start investing, but you have a million questions and you start googling this and that and get exhausted after some time, and then you just give up and try again a few months later maybe. So I try to answer all of your questions here in this short video. So if you have found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new around here, then subscribe and turn on your notifications.
I want to clarify a few minor points, 2 points. The first one is that in the previous video, the last video, I said that the Japanese were compensated for oppression. Actually, it was the American Japanese who were put in concentration camps during World War II, and they got compensation after the end of the war. The Jews also were compensated in an agreement that was signed in 1952. West Germany paid Israel a sum of 3 billion marks over, the agreement was to pay 3 billion marks over the next 14 years to the World Jewish Congress and to the State of Israel for the heirs of the victims who had not survived, and that amount was paid to the government of Israel. And the source of this information, which I'm reading, is Wikipedia article on reparation and agreement. In 1988, a decade after the campaign started by the Japanese-American, President Ronald Reagan signed an agreement in which the United States agreed to pay $1.6 billion at that time in 1988 to Japanese survivors and their heirs. And that $1.6 billion is equivalent to approximately $3.5 billion would be in 2019. And this amount was paid to 82,000 Japanese Americans and heirs and their heirs who were put in concentration, and their heirs of those who were put in concentration camps during World War II. And the source of this information, I like to give the source of these information. It is nationalpublicradio.org in 2020 and mnchurches.org blog in 2021. remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.
What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, Go Black to Africa. I want to share y'all this information right here that the Japanese are standing behind the African Americans on the reparations that we have been pushing here for years. There are 76 Japanese organizations that have come aboard and signed a letter that I'll be reading here in a second. But you need to know the HR 40, which is the House of Representatives have this writings that is exploring the path to reparative justice in America for African Americans. So you need to go ahead and check that out, HR 40. But let's get into this right here, because since about January or so, there has been this Japanese-American Citizen League with other Japanese organizations in America, and I'm assuming even probably in other countries, are standing on the fact that this initiative needs to be taken place for African Americans to be given the reparations that's deserved. Not even given, but actually that is owed them. Let me read this right here. This right here is July 23rd, 2021. Japanese American activists demand reparations for Black Americans. And this right here is the laist.com, laist.com. Japanese Americans who fought for reparations for being incarcerated during World War II are now lending their support to Blacks who want redress for the nation's history of slavery and discrimination. At the Japanese American Cultural and Community Center in Little Tokyo, where a dozen people were meeting after work hours, the evening started with a round of soba tea. Writer and activist Tracy Kato raised a cup of to the room of Japanese American volunteers ranging in the age of the 20s to 70s. She stated that, "Can we do a toast for gathering?" And she asked to the nod of approval for gathering across the country to support reparations. On this recent evening, Los Angeles was one of the multiple cities where Japanese Americans were meeting to work on the redress campaign for Black Americans. The goal was the same here as it was in San Jose, Oakland, Portland, St. Paul, Chicago, Brooklyn, etc. Go and read that right there. Do yourself a favor, educate yourself. Here on even June 17th, 2022, we have the United Church of Christ, who also was among faith groups pushing Biden to form reparations commissions. A coalition of religious activists wants to build on the U.S. Juneteenth holiday. This year, only the second marked Juneteenth as an official holiday. Its members are urging President Joe Biden to take an action that will focus more sharply on legacies of slavery and racism. From jointly signed letters to Biden to a June 15th vigil at a Cleveland church to a June 16th news conference near the White House, the faith groups and secular partners are pushing Biden to use his power. They want him to issue an executive order to explore reparations. This right here is the ucc.org. Read more into that article. Let's get to the nitty gritty. There was a letter that was sent. Here's 3 days ago. Today is December 24th, 2022. There was a letter sent by the JACL, joins 76 Japanese and Asian American organizations in calling on President Biden to establish Presidential Commission to study Black reparations. This was dated December the 21st. The National JACL on December 21st, joining the National CIC Reparations Coalition in sending a letter to the Biden administration calling for an executive order to create a commission to study reparations. This letter, co-signed by 76 Japanese, American, and Asian American organizations, is a strong testament to the commitment of our communities toward the promise of racial reparations and the healing of our nation. The JACL National President Larry Oda highlighted the need to establish a commission without further delay, stating, "The Japanese-American Citizen League is the nation's oldest, the largest Asian American civil rights organization and is committed to protecting the human and civil rights of all Americans. The travesty of slavery and its aftermath must be addressed if we are to truly become the great nation that we profess to be. The 400 years of racism and denied opportunities have taken their toll on a community. The establishment of a presidential commission to study the legacy of enslavement would educate and inform the public and Congress of the harm that it is perpetuated on the community. Time is of the essence. There is an urgency of instituting such a study before another year passes. This legislation was first introduced over 30 years ago, and it is time has come."
Well then, I grade. We need ya, hey, I need some herb in my brain. So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain and break up all the circles and the chains. I need some meditation in my brain. So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chain. Hey, no, this could never be no man killer. Good for my head, so me call it as the man healer. When me ill, you know me never need a painkiller. It's quite exciting, me call it as the man chiller. Give me good man, so me not think illa. What a inspiration, fit on a sound killer. Fit the pagan, me spark it like a 9 miller. Fi fight the liquor and the coke, ganja and the pillar. That's why me need some herb in my brain. So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chains. I need some herb in my brain. Bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain and break up all the circles and the chains. Cause it's a good herb, but a natural herb. Why they ma fight it? Yeah. Cure your cancer and heal your asthma. Why them not like it? Alright then, yo. Well, don't be getting it twisting. Cause you know me on her too, she join me rolling. And when me roll it, me ready for medicating. When me say medicating, me mean say meditating. Through meditation, new songs creating. And that the youth them waiting. Cause a good music them anticipating. Through the youth them know said the weed I keep it straighting. And that's why I need some herb in my brain. So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.